All right, long time no see. Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. The Blue Jackets getting a win in the afternoon game against the Chicago Blackhawks. This game moved up because of Ohio State playing, and if this game was at its normal scheduled time at 7 p.m., I don't think anybody would have went to that game. I don't know if anybody would have even watched it on TV. So definitely the right call there to move this up to the afternoon. They get the job done at home, 4-1 against the Blackhawks. Both teams in this series ending the other team's losing streak. The Chicago Blackhawks, I think, were on an 8-game losing streak when they beat the Blue Jackets a little bit ago. And in this game, the Blue Jackets sporting a 7-game losing streak coming into this one before getting one final victory before the year of 2022 comes to a close. Elvis is off of the COVID list. He was the backup goaltender in this game. Didn't get in the game, but it's nice to see him off of the illness report. Laine is still out, however. Andrew Peeke was healthy scratched in favor of Gavin Bayreuther, who draws into the third pair there. And there is a new top line with Gaudreau, Kent Johnson, and Marchenko. And with Laine out, I really do like the concept of that top line. Roslovic and Bemstrom now on the second line with Gus Nyquist. This was Seth Jones' first game back in Columbus since he was traded to the Blackhawks last year. He was out with illness. I do think it was a last-second COVID diagnosis, but I'm not too sure about that. In the goalie net, the goalie battle, was Korpisalo against Alex Stalock. Fairly even in the first period until the Blue Jackets' fourth line failed to clear, and Athanasiou was able to wrist one past Korpisalo with about 8.5 minutes left to go in the first. And then Seth Jones took a penalty, but Cole Sillinger took one of his own during that power play for the Blue Jackets. No scoring on either abbreviated power play there or the 4-on-4. Gaudreau was absolutely robbed by Stalock on the power play. However, it was a fantastic paddle save by Stalock and Gaudreau. He did get a couple assists in this one, so he was still active on the score sheet, but it would have been really nice to see him get one in and finally end that, end this goalless drought. But if he keeps putting up assists, then I'm not going to complain about that either. Seth Jones hit with another penalty call. This time, Emil Bemstrom able to capitalize with a goal after a Blackhawk player lost his stick late in the period. So Emil Bemstrom, since getting recalled, 2 goals in 2 games. That's what you like to see. Emil Bemstrom's been really inconsistent over the past couple of years with the Blue Jackets, so if he's able to find his game now, that would be really nice for his development for this club moving forward. And Adam Boqvist getting his first point of the season with a secondary assist on that goal as well. The first period ending 1-1. Second period starting with back-to-back Blue Jacket penalties. However, the Blue Jackets are able to get a shorthanded goal on the second one. Gus Nyquist getting the goal there, but the play was really made by Jack Roslovic getting down the ice and making a really nice pass to Nyquist, and that gave the Blue Jackets a 2-1 lead. Blue Jackets controlling most of the play for most of the second period. Chicago getting very little in terms of shots on net, and even shot attempts were pretty stifled by the Blue Jacket defense. Late into the period, very late into the period actually, Kirill Marchenko got the puck in open space in the offensive zone from Johnny Gaudreau, and he buried it past Stalock with 3 seconds to go, meaning the second period ended with the Blue Jackets up 3-1. In the third period, the Blue Jackets really clamped down defensively like they already kind of were in the second, but you could tell in the third that their mission was definitely to limit the chances that the Blackhawks were getting. Kind of doing what the Islanders did to them last game is what the Blue Jackets were doing to the Blackhawks in this one. Roslovic with a prime chance down Royal Road. He shot that one off of the post. However, Gaudreau was hauled down to a no call, which the crowd in Columbus was definitely incensed about. Let the referees know about their unhappiness. And then the Blackhawks looking pretty lifeless into the under 10-minute media timeout, and more of the same from the Blackhawks, and the Blue Jackets defense just shutting them down until Matthew Olivier was hit with a cross-checking penalty with 2.5 minutes to go. Blackhawks went empty net on that power play for some 6-on-4 hockey, and the Blackhawks finally getting some consistent zone time, playing with the 2-man advantage there, but Korpisalo solid throughout that power play, and also a Chicago shot went off of the pipes as well. So a little bit of luck and a lot of Korpisalo just being playing very well in the goaltender position. Gus Nyquist would ice the game with a shorthanded empty net goal, so 2 shorthanded goals for Gus Nyquist in this one. Good for him on the penalty kill, and the penalty kill has looked pretty good the last couple of games, but I do think that is more to do with the quality of the power play they've been playing than the penalty kill all of a sudden being league tops or anything. But I will take this win. I know there are some people in the fan base that will bemoan getting a victory and saying, oh, we're 4 points out of the Bedard race now and whatever and all that. But I honestly do think that, the Blue Jackets aren't in any danger of crawling out of the basement of the NHL and sacrificing a top pick or anything. They're not in any danger of crawling out of whatever hole they're in and landing like the 8th or 10th pick. They're still pretty much in the dregs of the bottom. They're still in a premier spot to land a top prospect in this mega stacked draft coming up. So I'm not too concerned about this particular result in any sort of way. I know Connor Bedard is definitely the top prize, but there are plenty of immediately franchise-altering prospects, or at least that's what they're viewed as coming up in this draft. And overall, I just want to see the Blue Jackets play good hockey, because that's what the mission was for the season going in. Even if you didn't think they would definitely be, make the playoffs or anything, you definitely wanted to see some improvement of play. And as long as the young guys keep making plays, like Emil Bemstrom and Marchenko getting goals in this one, I thought was big. And if the Blue Jackets do string together wins off of the backs of their young talent, then I think that means that you do have a pretty good young core coming up. And maybe while it would be nice to get a player like Connor Bedard, maybe it's not the most needed thing in the world. But again, like I'm saying, the Blue Jackets, they beat a Chicago team that's still really, like, they're pretty bad. They're actively tanking. The Blue Jackets beat two terrible teams beating each other in this series. Really, they kind of draw even. I don't think the Blue Jackets are gonna. I don't know if this spurns on a 5-game winning streak that all of a sudden again it puts them out of contention for a top prospect without some lottery luck. I do think they're still pretty deeply buried into the bottom of the NHL at this point, but it's good. It's nice to see a feel good win for this year, to cap this year off, even though it's been mostly pretty terrible, with a nice feel-good win at home. Hopefully this is a good omen for the Buckeyes coming up, although again I'm still pretty doubtful about that game against Georgia, but we'll see how that plays out later on tonight. And so thank you all for watching. If you've made it this far into the video, I will see you at the next one.